Okay, so we commencing um July basically, 1st of July. So this is actually officially end of quarter number two, second quarter, halfway through the year. Um, again, not ideal. Like we plan so many things, it doesn't happen that way most of the time. In trading, especially in life in general. But we may not have officially been funded as was the target by the 6 months period. But at least the good thing is I'm a lot more confident. I'm a lot more planned follow basically my processes. I've got a set amount of processes that I adhere to now, rules I don't break. So that's definitely a development. Okay. And I'm not rushing it, so I still count that as a heavy success. Still way, way, way better, light years ahead of when I started this year. Started even 3 months ago. I'm still like really developed now. That's long term. Short term wise, I highlighted this draw here last week as a magnet that's gonna attract price upwards, right? But then what happened is because of it being a slow week, no major news drivers, it just yeah, it did find support here, went up, missed it, and then just came down and just actually created these equal lows, equal highs and equal lows here. Real quick, if you just keep eye on the news, first week, so it's obviously going to be NFP. So you start with tomorrow. A lot of red news in the morning London session, so definitely avoid. Well, it depends actually. I might not. I might just wake up because I think it's an NFP week, non-farm payroll. So I might just, depending on how it opens, if I do like something, I might actually engage that. But even then, I will just have one trade because it can get confusing rather quickly, especially on a Monday when it's opening for the week, a new month. But you have a lot of news. You have jolts as well, actually. So, you know, a lot of activity later on in New York. Sorry, not Monday, my bad. Monday you don't have jolts, you just have the morning news mainly, and some New York here. Nothing too heavy. But yeah, jolts you have. Jolts can absolutely jolt it. And then Wednesday, ISM again is something that does move it. FOMC minutes. HCOB in the morning again. HCOB does move it as well for the German and the Euro. So that's a lot of movement in London. And then Thursday is going to be probably a really difficult trading day because you have a day before NFP, because it's obviously the day before NFP, but also no news and also, well, NFP, right? So all the ingredients of making it low probability, high resistance are there. So obviously Friday, you don't need an explanation. It's just going to be a mess. So it's just better avoid it altogether. So that's how the week looks like to be unfolding. So with that note, again, we have this, but I think this makes even more sense why we left equal highs. We were preparing for the NFP week, and also why this was low movement week, because again we were anticipating and making allowances for the week ahead, which is the NFP week, because that's when the key movement is going to occur. So before that, we're just gonna basically engage in as much liquidity as we can on both sides of the market, buy side or sell side. We'll create the idea it's going up, and it then doesn't. And people just sell it here, stop losses are here. Others have longed it here, stop losses are here, here, and here. So we've done it really well. That's normally what happens before a big news week, basically, especially NFP. Now, again, we'll go with the ideal situation as we usually do. So the ideal situation in an ideal world, first of all, make a note of these two CEs, and then secondly, be aware of the weekly fair value gap, because with it being NFP, large ranges, a lot of other news as well, we absolutely can come all the way down here to get the counterparty. Although I think it's unlikely, but it can happen, and it can definitely come down here to this unfinished business fair value gap. Okay, so either this and this weekly support, boom, explode higher into this ideal scenario, right? Nice and simple. Except it's not, because it's gonna be really corrective and just copy and shit. But That's the ideal scenario, which we most likely know is not going to happen. Okay. What will make you think or convince you that no, it's going to be really hard? It's not going to be as easy as it comes down and goes up here. What will make you think that straight away, and what will be a indicator of such behavior? I think the easiest one I found from my experience is if it starts moving from the Monday Open, like literally from the Monday Open starts moving to the high, to these highs here and maybe here. If it does that, you know straight away it's gonna be a fucking difficult week, and I think that's something we might see. If it doesn't do that and just starts going down, then you can expect the first part of the week before Thursday to, I'm not gonna say easy, but easier compared to if it goes higher. Let's put it that way, because if news comes, because obviously there's just so much news, right? Even in the early part of the week, news is still gonna make it hard to trade. Okay, it's just gonna make it tricky. Basically, they're gonna, before, what they do is always create that sentiment that it's gonna go to the obvious draw, but then it doesn't. It just looks like it's reversing. But then when news comes, it just goes straight to. Typically, that's what tends to occur. We've noticed. So if it goes higher towards the higher time frame draw, it's gonna be messy. If it doesn't, then it's gonna be easier, but only before Wednesday's New York session, like ICT said. So I recommend that you get your trading done before New York on Wednesday, and just be done with it. Close the charts, tape read it if you can, and just take it easy after, because it's just not going to be worth it after that. Just a simple advice I can give. But yeah, that's what I think will happen. Again, I don't want to give too much here because again, so much can change, so much can happen during the huge news events. I want to keep this really short and concise. Just told you the higher term expectations are these. Okay, this is all I would say, because a lot can change with one single jolts event. It's going to have such a huge range created, such a key point inflection that will potentially move the whole narrative of the week. What will happen? But this is the higher time from draw for now. Draw for your USD. Just say take it easy, don't push it, and just trust in the process. Don't move stops. Don't mess with it. Don't micromanage it. Just leave it and just basically play the probability game.